So here you can see that how the natural futures found a strong base here at the 200 days moving average in a monthly time frame, which is currently at the $4.323. And here you can see that the current position of 26 days moving average and the 9 days moving average showing the formation of a bullish crossover here. And here you can see that how the natural futures continued this rally from March 2022, and here you can see that finally the natural futures tested a peak on last Wednesday at the levels of $9.425, and that peak was broken on Thursday when the natural futures tested one more peak at the levels of $9.432. But from here, a sharp sell-off was seen, and the natural futures finally closed the last week at the levels of $8.724. So here in the monthly time frame, I have marked some important levels for the natural futures. So friends, here you can see that how the level of the 8.714 seems to be a decisive juncture for the natural futures, because this was a long-term resistance for the natural futures, what we have seen from a long time. And secondly, it is important for a breakout move, as here you can see that during the year 2008 we have seen a breakout move well above the levels of the 8.724 when the natural futures started to move upward and tested a peak at the levels of the 13.7 during the month of July 2008. So here I find that this level seems to be very important. So friends, here I find that if the natural futures continue to sustain well above this important support during this month at the levels of the 8.714, we will see a sharp breakout well above the levels of the 9.494, where I find that a breakout above this level could continue this rally up to the levels of the 10.609, where the next resistance can be seen in natural futures, as here you can see that this level provided a stiff resistance to natural futures. So friends, here you can see that how we have seen a sharp sell-off below this level during the year 2006 when the natural futures moved downward after testing a lifetime peak at the $15.807 during the month of December 2005. So here you can see that how this breakdown became steeper below this important level. So friends, here I find that once again the level of the 10.609 can provide a stiff resistance in case of an upward move during the upcoming weeks, and this uptrend could continue during the month of July too if the natural futures find a breakout well above the levels of the 9.494 during the upcoming week. And on the low side, I find that the level of the 8.291 seems to be an immediate support in a monthly time frame, because this level provided a strong bounce back on Friday, from where the natural futures found a sharp reversal, and the second support can be seen at the levels of the 8.067, what I have described as a launching pad for the natural futures. So here I find that the natural futures found a sharp reversal from here. If we find a downward move during the upcoming week, the level of the 8.067 will provide a sharp pullback to natural gas futures, because here you can see that the natural gas futures have been currently maintaining well above the 9 days moving average, which is currently at the low of 6.484. So friends, here I find that the final support for the natural gas futures will be at the 9 days moving average, which is currently at the low of 6.484. So friends, now let us check this move in a weekly time frame. So here in a weekly time frame, here you can see that how the natural gas futures behaved during the month of May. Here you can see that how the natural gas futures tried to sustain well above the levels of the 7.254 during the first week of May and tested a peak at the levels of the 8.989. This was the first peak of the season, and the natural gas futures found some sell-off from here. And here you can see that how the natural gas futures tried to find a breakout once again, but could not go beyond this resistance at the levels of $8.291. So friends, here I find that the natural futures could find a bounce back once again from this level, because this level has turned into a strong support now after a breakout during the third week of May. We've seen a breakout well above this level where the natural futures tested a new peak at the 9.432. So here I find that the immediate support will be the level of the 8.294, and the second support will be the level of the 8.067, and below this level I find that the natural futures could find good buying support from the levels of the 7.945. Friends, here I find that the volatility could be higher during the upcoming week, but here I find that any downward move from the current levels will provide a good opportunity to go long well above the levels of the 8.063. We'll see a sharp reversal from here, because here I find that the current position of moving averages looks evident enough for the continuation of a breakout move, as here you can see that the formation of a bullish crossover here in a weekly time frame that ensured a breakout move in natural gas futures well above the levels of the 6.450, when the natural gas futures found a strong base here during the last week of April 2022, and from here this uptrend continued when the natural gas futures have finally tested a peak during the last week. So friends, here you can see that the natural gas futures have already seen the impact of this bullish crossover in a weekly time frame. So friends, here you can see that the 9 days moving average is currently well above the 26 days moving average. So friends, here I find that if the natural gas futures find a breakdown well below the levels of the 8.516, the immediate support will be the level of the 8.291, and the second support will be at the levels of the 8.067, and the third support will be at the levels of the 7.571. This is a long-term support that could provide a strong bounce back to natural gas futures, because the current position of moving averages look evident enough for the continuation of this rally in natural gas futures. So friends, now let's take this move in a daily time frame. So here in a daily time frame, here you can see that the natural gas futures found stiff resistance well above the levels of the 9.422. Here you can see that how the natural gas futures found sharp sell-off on last Thursday, when the natural gas futures formed this exhaustive candle in a daily time frame on May 26, and this resulted in a sharp downward move on May 27, when the natural gas futures tested a low at the levels of the 8.291, from where a sharp reversal was seen in natural gas futures when the natural gas futures finally closed the week at the levels of the 8.724. That resulted in the formation of a bullish candle here. So friends, here I find that a weekly closing well above the levels of the 8.74 looks evident enough for a gap up opening on the first trading session of the upcoming week, where I find that if the natural gas futures start the upcoming week well above the levels of the 8.954, we'll see this uptrend to continue, where the natural gas futures could try to find a breakout well above the levels of the 9.494, but here I find that if the natural gas futures are not able to hold above this level, we see sharp sell-off once again from here that could drag down the natural gas futures well back to the levels of the 8.736. So friends, here I find that the volatility could remain extremely higher during the upcoming week. So friends, here I find that the 9 days moving average will provide an immediate support in case of a downward move, which is currently at the levels of the 8.619, and the next support will be at the levels of the 8.291, and the third support will be at the levels of the 8.063, which is a launching pad for the natural gas futures, because here I find that any downward move will provide a good opportunity to go long well above the 26 days moving average, which is currently at the levels of the 7.873. So friends, this zone seems to be evident enough for going long well above the levels of the 7.873, because here I find that the natural gas futures could find a strong support at the 26 days moving average, and from here a sharp bounce back can be seen once again, and here I find that on the upper side a sustained move well above the levels of the 8.996 could result in a sharp breakout move above the levels of $9.494 during the upcoming week, where the natural gas futures could test the levels of $9.651, because here I find that the natural gas futures will have to sustain at these levels to test the levels of $10. Undoubtedly, the volatility could be higher, but overall trend will remain bullish. So thank you friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.